We're going to talk about some more order of operations examples here. So, example 2 says 18 plus 6 minus 8 divided by 2. So think of your order of operations. Remember, PEMDAS, where your multiplication and division you do from left to right, and your addition and subtraction you do from left to right. Okay, so we've got addition, subtraction, and division here. Division comes first out of those operations. Notice it comes first in PEMDAS. So we'll do the negative 8 divided by 2 first. Negative 8 divided by 2 leaves us with negative 4. So bring everything else down that you haven't used yet. That's the proper way to show your work. Okay, now I'm left with addition and subtraction. Now when I have addition and subtraction, it just matters which order they come in the problem, and I go from left to right. So I'm going to do 18 plus 6 first. That gives me 24. Bring down the minus 4 because I haven't used that yet, and I'm left with 20. Next one, I've got division, addition, some more division, some more addition. Okay, so division comes before addition always. So I'm going to start with this 32 divided by 16. 16 goes into 32 2 times. And I'll bring everything else down that I haven't used yet. Okay, I've got more division here, so I'll do the 9 divided by 3 next. That leaves me with 3. I've already used the 9 and the 3, so bring down everything else. Now I just have addition. So addition, I can just go left to right, and so I'll just add them all up. So 2 plus 3 plus 12 gives me 17. Next I have, so 45 minus 2 times the quantity 15 minus 3. Parentheses or any grouping symbols always comes first. So I'm going to do 15 minus 3 first. 15 minus 3 is 12. And then I'm going to bring everything else down that I haven't used yet. By the way, if this multiplication symbol weren't here, if it were just the 2 right next to the parentheses, that would still mean to multiply. Now I have subtraction and multiplication left. So multiplication comes first. I'm going to do my negative 2 times 12, or 2 times 12, that's 24. And since it's minus, I'll bring down that minus sign and bring down my 45 that I haven't used yet. And now I'm just doing 45 minus 24, which is 21. That's my answer. Moving on. This is a little bit more complex of an example because I have brackets and parentheses. So I have multiple grouping symbols in this problem. Now, if I have multiple grouping symbols, I'm going to start with the innermost one. So I'm going to start with the parentheses inside the brackets. I actually have 2 sets of parentheses, so I'm going to do both of those. And actually, I can do them both at the same time. So I'm going to do negative 6 plus 4. That gives me a negative 2. And then I've got 3 minus 5. Also negative 2. And I'm going to bring down everything I haven't used yet. So there's this division symbol. I've got my brackets around these guys. I've got this negative 2 on the outside, and I've got this plus 6. Okay, again, this is properly showing your work, so I want to see all these steps. I have more grouping symbols, so I'm going to do the negative 2 divided by negative 2 next. Anything divided by itself is just 1. Okay, so I'm just left with 1 there. Bring everything down. Like we said, if there's a number outside of grouping symbols with no operation in between, that means to multiply. So this is negative 2 times 1 plus 6. Between multiplication and addition, I always do multiplication first. So negative 2 times 1 is just negative 2. Bring down your plus 6. Negative 2 plus 6 is a positive 4. Now something to note, absolute value symbols are also in the category of grouping symbols or parentheses. So if you have absolute value symbols in your problem, you're going to start with what's inside the absolute values first. Just like P comes first in PEMDAS, think of your absolute value symbols as parentheses. So do what's inside those first. Okay, so the first thing I'll do with this problem is 8 minus negative 2. I'm subtracting integers here. So I'm going to do my keep, change rule. Don't mind the bell there. So keep the sign of the 8, change the operation, change the sign of the second number. So I'm really doing 8 plus 2 in here. And those are inside absolute value bars. Now I'm going to bring down everything I haven't used yet. Okay, now I'll actually take the absolute value because I got to finish up this part. So absolute value of 10 is 10. So I'm subtracting 10. Again, I'm subtracting integers, so I'm going to do my keep, change rule. Keep, change the sign of your operation, change the sign of your second integer. So really I'm doing -5 plus -10, -15. When I add two integers with the same side or sign, I keep the sign and add them together. So -15. All right, moving on to our last type of example. Example 7 says, which operation would you perform first? So these ones you don't actually need to solve anything. We're just looking for which operation would we do first. So for part A, where would I start? Well, I've got parentheses, so the first thing I would do is work with the parentheses. So I'd add these two numbers inside the parentheses. So the first operation would be adding in parentheses. All right, and then next, I also have parentheses with part B, so I would start with that with part B as well. I'd do the 67 divided by 6 first if I were to solve this problem. So this one would be dividing in the parentheses. Part C, I have subtraction and addition. So remember with PEMDAS, I'll go back to this. When I'm working with addition and subtraction, I always go from left to right. So whatever order they come in, that's how I do them. They're on like the same level of order of operations. Same with multiplication and division. If I'm working only with multiplication and division, that's all I have left in my problem, I do them in whatever order they come, from left to right. They're on the same level. Okay, so subtraction and addition, I would work left to right. So in this case, I would do the subtraction first. Lastly, part D, I see I have absolute value bars here, which we talked about are a type of grouping symbol, or parentheses, kind of. So that's what I would do first. I would do the 15 minus 6 inside the absolute value bars. So I'd do the subtraction in the absolute value bars. And we are done.